What's going on, everybody? Mental Health EDC Guy here. First thing you'll notice is I am in a new location with a new desk. Super excited about it. It's an adjustable desk, so it can be as tall as I want it to be. Um, I ended up getting this desk back from my mom. That way I can actually have a place for content and my girlfriend doesn't get mad at me for using our decoration shelf for my content and my knife stuff. So let's just getting that out of the way. This is the new location, new table. Super excited to have it. Can't wait to see what memories we create together with this table. All right, so one of my subscribers today asked me to make another sharpening video or more sharpening videos. And that got me thinking. I've had this worksharp sharpener for probably about 6 months or so now. So I thought, why not explain what I've learned with it, maybe some tips and tricks. If you're new to sharpening, maybe I can give my 2 cents on the subject, right? Now, before we get into the sharpener itself, let's talk about a couple specific things. It seems my camera's dirty. Let me fix that for you. I hope that's a little clearer. Stop it. So, first things first, I want to talk about different blade steels, because when you're sharpening a knife, this matters a lot more than you think. So, not all blade steels are made the same, right? I'm sure that's a pretty obvious thing. I just want to kind of explain the differences, something that may be easy to sharpen or something that you may find a little more difficult. So this is the Microtech Ultratech Gen 4. This is in M390 MK steel. Now M390 is a little bit harder to sharpen. It's just a tougher steel. Obviously, one thing that really matters is the heat treat, the hardness, everything like that, right? So M390 is a harder one to sharpen. Show you another one here. This is the Benchmade Freak in M4. M4 is super hard to sharpen. I'll have all the reasons as to why they're hard to sharpen up here. But yeah, I'm not going to bore you with many more. Let's talk about one blade steel that's notably easy to sharpen. There's a couple, right? There's D2. I believe the 400s are easy to sharpen. But one specifically that a lot of people know is MagnaCut. MagnaCut's super easy to sharpen. I don't know about y'all, but I love the blade steel MagnaCut. I think it is one of the most versatile blade steels out there. I know for all you hardworking guys who watch my videos, I'm probably losing you here. Bear with me. I promise I'll show you how to sharpen a knife. So I wanted to make sure I talked about the different types of blade steels, why they're hard to sharpen, and just what to watch out for. So when you do start your sharpening journey, to make sure you have razor sharp, hair popping knives, you understand, that there may be some issues that go along with sharpening specific knives and specific blade steels. I won't talk about blade shapes as much on this one. It will come up as I come to sharpen more knives, because you're going to sharpen differently with tanto versus drop point versus Wharncliffe, reverse tanto, right? Straight edges versus, a drop point where it has more of a round edge. I just want to make sure that I can express my information as best as I can and give you as much information as possible so you don't make the same mistakes that maybe I did or somebody else did. Now, before I get into the sharpening, I thought I'd show what knife I'm going to sharpen for you today. This is my Hinderer XM18 3.5 Wharncliffe no choil 20 CV steel blade. This knife is an absolute workhorse. I've been using this knife to help remodel my home. I actually used it to cut drywall. I cleaned it so you can't see the drywall anymore, but just trust me, all right? It's not super dull, but it's dull enough. I mean, it could probably use a strop and be good enough. However, for the sake of the video, and I want a mirrored edge on it, I'm going to sharpen this one. Now, it can't be a sharpening video if I don't show you the before, right? Here's a random instruction manual that I found for a mobile entertainment center. I don't know. I don't need it anymore. It's built. So, it still definitely cuts, but not as well as you'd want it to. Right, you can see there's some jagged edges there. There's some fraying there. So yeah, we're gonna fix that. All right, we got everything out of the box. Let's go over what comes in that nice carrying case I just showed you. So first, you got a leather strap here. You can see I have definitely used it a fair bit. This is supposed to clean up your edges, take away any burrs, nicks, just gross stuff that we don't want on our blade, right? This is your sharpening triangle. So it comes with the 800 grit, 600 grit, and then a ceramic. And then you have your rehoning triangle that comes with 400 grit, 320, and 220. Now, probably asking yourself, Mental Health EDC guy, how do I know which stone to start with? Well, most knives, truthfully, you only need to strop them, right? Sometimes if you've noticed a little bit of a rolled edge, you can use just the sharpening triangle. These are primarily used to repair the edge. A lot of people will, when they're sharpening pocket knives like this, will start at 320 and then work up to 400 and then so on and so forth, right? That way they get a completely new edge. They can get it as mirror finish as possible, as hair popping as possible. That's what we're gonna do. Like I said, normally I would just do a strop or maybe just the sharpening triangle. But I wanna go through my thought process on each stage of the process, right? So we'll start with 320 and we'll move along from there. Before we start sharpening, we need to figure out what our edge sharpens at, right? So what you're gonna do, grab your ceramic plate here. Make sure it's attached to the work sharpener, and then we're gonna unscrew or spin this little gear here, and we're gonna put our knife in there, put it, I guess at the spine of the angle of the spine. I typically don't like doing that. Okay, I'm opening it. Something like this might make it a little bit harder to sharpen. However, you should be okay. Okay, am I sharpening? Okay, I am tightening. Goodness gravy. I act like I haven't done this in 3 months. Okay, so it's tight enough on there. I mean, you can give it a little extra half turn if you need. So what we're gonna do, I have it set at 20 degrees right now. You can see that indicated by the arrows. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a Sharpie. I chose red because I like red. Ignore the blue. I like red. Okay, we're gonna take our red here. And what I do is I take the tip of my marker, obviously. The side, the side doesn't do anything. I'm gonna take the tip of my marker, I'm gonna press it against the edge, and I'm just gonna do a line along the whole edge, right? So you can see what that's gonna do there is you're gonna have the angle of your edge. And the reason why I told you to grab the ceramic is we're gonna start at 20, and we're gonna go along this red line to see if it disappears. Now the reason I chose ceramic is because I don't want to damage the knife or the edge. So I ran it there for a second. It looks like it's still kind of there. Let's do a couple more back and forth strokes. I don't want to have to resharpen this too much, so that's why I'm using the ceramic. Okay, it looks like it might be 22. Give another college try. Okay, let's go up like one more. I'm gonna pause this so you guys don't have to sit through the thought process. All right, so after some trial and error, it seems that my hinderer sharpens at 25 degrees. You can see that little corner shaved off there, the Sharpie shaved off. You can see 25 degrees. So now we are ready to sharpen. Not every knife is gonna be at 25 degrees. Some are gonna be at 20, some are gonna be at 25, some are gonna be at 30, some are either gonna be like 15, 13, 17, somewhere around that range. Most edges kind of determine what the knife is used for. So like a 25 degree edge is built for hard use. Something that's not going to roll or chip easily. Now, obviously, if you're cutting drywall, you're going to roll and chip your blade, right? Which is why we're sharpening it today. But slicers are typically that 20 to 15 to 20 range. So I'm going to speed up this part because the sound is god-awful for video. As I change stones, I'll zoom in really quick and then talk my thought process through. And yeah, let's go. All right, so here's a unique situation you'll sometimes run into. So as you can see, most of the red is gone. However, if I get the knife closer and tilt it a little bit, do you see that hint of red at the tip? So for whatever reason, that edge is a little bit of a different degree. So I'm gonna focus on that edge for a minute, and then we'll be back. All right, right, you can see after a couple, stop it. You can see after a couple tries, we got that red out of there, so that means we have finally ground this down to a good 25-degree angle again, right? Now you'll notice there's a little chip near the tip there. I'll point at it safely. Hopefully it works out through the sharpening process, but we'll see. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip to the other side, keeping the 320 grit. Let's get started. Right. So you'll see all that red's gone. We have a nice little burr formed on the edge, which is exactly what you want. Now we're going to move to the 400 grit and just keep doing the same process. I'll explain my process once we get to the sharpening. Okay. And so now we got a pretty good refined edge. Let's, one thing that you want to do is let's make sure that we're actually creating a nice edge. Let's see how it cuts. So it's obviously there's going to be some tears there, right? It's not a refined edge. But essentially what I'm doing here, as I swap out these triangular rods, essentially what I'm doing here is I'm going back and forth in an up and down style motion, back and forth across the blade. Now, worksharp personally recommends you do 12 to 14 swipes per side. I haven't found that personally to work perfectly for me. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. However, doing it the way that I've been showing you has worked for me very well. And that's just, I go forward, back. So I go forward and back twice. What you're doing, what you really want to focus on more than your passes or anything is if you're creating a burr, right? And you can do that by feeling the edge underneath. On top of that, you also want to make sure you're getting rid of the burr. As soon as the burr's gone on your edge, you can flip it to the next side. I just like to make sure, because I like having mirror edges on my knives, I like making sure that I get everything crisp and even, because I want it to look good, I want it to shine, I want it to operate really well. A mirrored edge typically helps you cut better because you're not getting as much stuff like paper stuck on it. Now, I could be wrong, but I like to believe that to be true. Now, with the sharpening triangle, we're starting with 600. How well can you see that? 600. We're going to do the same thing, back and forth twice, make sure everything's lining up good, and then we'll test it again, make sure that it's keeping its sharpness. The 600 is done, so now we're going to move to 800. You can see we're already kind of taking a shine there. So sharpening, when it comes to your mirror edge, if that's what you're going for, the sharpening isn't the most important part. I'll show you what this most important part is and how slow to take it to make sure you get that nice edge. Let me finish doing the 100 grit and I'll explain. Now the 800 grit is done, so we're going to move to the ceramic. So with the ceramic, what you're going to want to do if you're trying to get a nice mirror edge is you want to go really slow. You want to go really slow, keep the same pressure, and just slowly move back and forth. You're not going to damage anything by doing this. You're just polishing up that edge, getting rid of any burrs or glinting, and you'll have a nice edge to show off to anybody that cares. Ceramic is done, so we're going to take the ceramic off. Now we're going to grab our leather strop. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can saw downwards. I personally don't like doing that because you got to keep lifting up and back down, up and back down, up and back down. What I do is I'll just take it and I'll go 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 20. And there you have it, a nice new edge on your awesome knife or your fork. Can I sharpen a fork? Yeah, that's a serious idea. What can I sharpen? I don't know if Worksharp would be happy with that, but it looks great. You can see it's got a nice mirrored edge on there. Maybe not perfect, but good enough for me. Let's test the sharpness. So just as a reminder, this is what it looked like before. See the fraying. And now we just, oh yeah. Oh, okay. That was my fault. Wow, that is money. Absolute money. So yeah, that's why I sharpen my knives. Those are the tips and tricks that I've learned so far. Hopefully you found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I love making videos like this. I love sharing my knowledge. I also love hearing if maybe I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong or you just think I'm stupid, go ahead and tell me. That's fine. I got soft skin, but you know, that's none of your issues. So thank you again so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok as well. I'm very active on both platforms. I would love to grow my following over there as well. On my Instagram, I post like inspirational quotes every day. And then on TikTok, I post like cool little knife features. So if that's something you're interested in, go check me out. MentalHealthEDCGuy on TikTok and Instagram. Same handle as on YouTube. If you don't need anything else, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.